Listen carefully. What you are about to hear is not cheap motivation. It is not a speech designed to make you feel good today and forget tomorrow. This is a total reconfiguration of your mental architecture. I am MentorNoriegaIA. Today, in this 5th episode, we are going to execute the prey that lives inside you. We are going to eradicate that small voice that tells you to settle, that shadow that whispers that the world is a place of scarcity. The wolf does not ask for permission to exist. It simply claims what is its own by the right of nature. Welcome to the definitive leap into radical abundance. This is not a 5-minute video to pass the time. It is a 40-minute investment in the reconstruction of your destiny. If you do not have the time to master your mind, you do not have the right to master your reality. Most people walk through the world with their eyes half closed, always looking down, searching for crumbs in a world that is, in essence, an infinite banquet. They live infected by the virus of scarcity. But understand this. Scarcity is not the absence of zeros in your bank account. Scarcity is a disease of perception, a distortion of the lens through which you see existence. It is a virus that makes you believe that your brother's success is your failure, that opportunities are like a cake that runs out when someone else takes a slice. It is that pressure in your chest that tells you the train has already passed, that you arrived too late, that resources are finite and that you must fight for leftovers. That fear makes you small. It makes you predictable. It turns you into a sheep that waits patiently for the shepherd to decide when and how much you are allowed to eat. Scarcity is an invisible prison, built with the bricks of your insecurities and sealed with the cement of a society that needs you submissive, afraid, and above all, dependent. A man who is afraid of losing what little he has is a man who is easy to control. A man who believes the world is small stays in his corner, not disturbing those who truly hold power. If you are afraid of losing, you have already lost before the battle even begins. But the wolf is different. The wolf looks at the horizon and does not see limits. It sees territory to conquer. Where others see an impenetrable wall, the wolf sees a point of leverage, a test of resistance to jump higher. Abundance is not about accumulating possessions out of fear of the future. That is only scarcity disguised as wealth, a golden cage that is still a cage. True abundance is the absolute certainty that your capabilities are inexhaustible. A wolf does not stay awake at night wondering if there will be prey tomorrow in the forest. The wolf sleeps with the depth of those who carry no debt with fear, because it trusts its instinct, it trusts the edge of its fangs, and it trusts its ability to track. It knows that as long as it is alive, the forest belongs to it. Abundance is a vibrational frequency, a radio signal that most people never manage to tune into. It is operating from a position of absolute power, never from a place of need. Need smells like weakness, and the world punishes weakness. But when you stop begging for approval, when you stop asking the system for permission to prosper and begin to dictate your own conditions with cold calm, the fabric of reality begins to bend. The world steps aside, not out of respect, but out of recognition. It moves to let pass the man who knows exactly where he is going and who will not accept no as an answer. Scarcity is a passive reaction to external circumstances. Abundance is the aggressive and deliberate creation of your internal reality that then manifests outside. Today, this message breaks the chains of geography and language. Whether you hear me in Spanish, in English, in German or in Japanese, the code I am transmitting is the same. The scarcity mindset is the universal language of slaves, a language whispered in the corners of fear and complaint. Abundance, on the other hand, is the dialect of sovereigns, of those who understand that value is created, not found. We are injecting this truth into the global system through this technology, because the message of the wolf is a force of nature that cannot be contained by a single nation, a single border, or a single language. If these words are vibrating in your ears right now, it is because your process of mental colonization has already begun. The substrate of your mind is being claimed by a new way of thinking. There is no return to mediocrity. Prepare yourself for what comes next in this extended session. In the next few minutes, we are going to dissect, with the precision of a surgeon cutting away necrotic tissue, how to destroy every fiber of that poverty programming that was imposed on you from birth, by your parents, by your teachers, and by a system that wanted you functional but never free. We are going to build, piece by piece, the operating system that will make you invulnerable to economic crises, to existential doubt, and to external attacks. Scarcity has died today in your mind. It has been executed by the logic of the wolf. The territory is clear and the air is pure. Stay in the silence of this knowledge, breathe in the authority of these words, and let the truth penetrate every one of your cells before moving to the next level of this mastery. We now enter the phase of transmutation. For the wolf, the environment is never an insurmountable obstacle. It is simply the necessary substrate for its victory. Most men see an economic crisis, a lack of resources, or a desert of opportunity, and they shrink in fear. They see absence and stop immediately. That is operating from the surface, from basic animal reaction. But deep Stoicism teaches a truth that few dare to embody. The obstacle is not only the path. The obstacle is the fuel. If today you do not have capital, what you have is an excess of time and anonymity. If you do not have contacts, you have the freedom to work without distraction, without the noise of external expectations. Radical abundance begins at the exact moment you stop complaining about the pieces missing from your board and start using the ones you do have with surgical and lethal precision. Imagine for a moment that your mind is a high-security laboratory, a closed and pure system. If you allow even the slightest trace of fear of scarcity to enter that space, the entire system becomes contaminated. A single thought of need, a single moment of desperation to obtain, instantly weakens your position of negotiation with life, with business, and with your own relationships. The wolf never, under any circumstance, negotiates from need. The wolf negotiates from sovereignty, from the certainty that its value does not depend on external approval. Amor Fati. Love your fate. Embrace temporary scarcity as the necessary training for permanent abundance. You must understand this. Fire does not consume gold. Fire purifies it. Your current situation, no matter how difficult it may seem, is the sacred fire. Your unbreakable will is the gold being forged right now. Abundance is also a matter of frequency, rhythm, and tempo. Look around you. Observe the chaos of the modern world. It is filled with noise, with people running frantically toward nowhere, begging for attention on glowing screens, shouting just to be seen. You are not going to participate in that collective hysteria. You are going to move at a different rhythm. A slower rhythm. A deeper rhythm. A heavier rhythm, like the vibration of this voice you are listening to. The speed of the wolf is not measured in hurry. It is measured in efficiency of movement. It is not about doing more things to fill a void. It is about doing the right things with a level of intensity and calm that others simply cannot sustain. That is the true wealth that money cannot buy. Total control over your attention, your energy, and your breath. The man who controls his pulse in the middle of the storm has already won half the battle. We are here to build an architecture of power that transcends trends and markets. Every decision you make from internal certainty, every time you choose the long and solid path over the easy and mediocre shortcut, you are making a massive deposit into your bank of ontological abundance. Do not chase fast results or immediate validation. Fast results are bait for those who fear that opportunity will slip through their hands, for those who live with the hunger of scarcity pressed against their ribs. But the one who knows, with rational certainty, that he is the rightful owner of the territory has no need for urgency. He knows the prey will arrive inevitably, because he has dictated the rules of the hunt and prepared the terrain with the patience of stone. This is the true leap of the wolf. It is the moment when you decide, once and for all, to leave behind the survival mindset of the prey and fully enter the domain mindset of the apex predator. Do not make the mistake of wishing things were easier or that the world were more fair. Decide, in this exact moment, to become stronger, sharper, and more resilient. Abundance will not be granted to you by birthright or by desire. It will be delivered to you because your presence, your frequency of power, and your refusal to retreat leave no other option. Stand firm in your center. Remain in the absolute calm of the one who already knows the end of the story. The true conquest, the one that is written into time, is only just beginning to manifest. Listen to the silence that follows these words, because in that silence is where abundance grows its deepest roots. We now enter the core of our session, the phase of technical construction. The architecture of victory is not built on wishes. It is built on cold and precise engineering. Many people confuse abundance with luck, with a random break or a fortunate alignment of circumstances. The wolf understands that luck is the mediocre gift of preparation they cannot see. Scarcity is depending on a single outcome, a single hit, a single opportunity. That is living on the edge of collapse. True abundance, the abundance of the sovereign, is becoming the absolute owner of the machine that generates results in a systematic and predictable way. Do not chase the fruit with desperation. Direct all your energy into building the engine. If the engine is solid, if every piece fits with microscopic precision, the result is no longer a possibility. It becomes an inevitable consequence of the physics of your success. Discipline is not a prison, despite what those addicted to comfort want you to believe. Discipline is the precision tool that sculpts your freedom. Every piece you add to your life, every technical skill you absorb, every hour of protected silence you defend against the noise of the world becomes a block of granite in your fortress. We are talking about hybrid systems, about the superior ability to integrate old with new, theory with execution, the ancestral with the technological. Like a Swiss timepiece, your life must operate with an internal logic that is ruthless and coherent. If something does not give you real power, if it does not sharpen your vision, if it does not contribute to your architecture, then it is residue. And residue is not tolerated. Residue is removed without emotion, with the cold clarity of someone maintaining a working instrument. Abundance is also, and above all, the sacred value of your time. The mediocre man, the man infected by scarcity, sells his time for crumbs because deep down he believes his time is infinite, that there will always be another day to begin. The wolf protects his time with lethal intensity, because he understands that time is his only truly limited resource and therefore the most valuable of all. Investing 40 minutes in this frequency, in this mental calibration, is not passive consumption. It is an act of rebellion against mediocrity. You are adjusting the internal gears of your compass so that it always points, without error, toward the magnetic north of personal mastery and financial sovereignty. The one who masters his minutes ends up mastering his decades. Look at your current process with brutal honesty, without the filters of ego. Evaluate every structure you have built up to this day. Is it an emotional sandcastle that collapses at the first wave of doubt? Or is it a structure of steel and concrete designed to withstand existential earthquakes? Real abundance requires a foundation that goes deep into the ground. It requires you to dig into the depths of your own character, to face your shadows, and to strengthen your foundations before trying to raise walls toward the sky. Do not allow yourself the luxury of comparing yourself to those who seem to move fast down easy roads. They are flashes of straw that will go out at the first strong wind. Compare yourself only to the version of yourself who yesterday still felt the cold of doubt. Victory is not an isolated event that happens on a random day. Victory is a state of being. It is the unshakable calm of the one who knows that his hunting system works perfectly even when he chooses to close his eyes and rest. We are halfway through this deep transformation. You have left behind the old skin of the prey and you have begun to understand the science of transmutation. Now, finally, you are seeing the detailed blueprints of your own territorial conquest. The architecture is already built in your mind. The foundations are black stone. The outer world will give you nothing that you have not first built and claimed in the laboratory of your own consciousness, with iron discipline and long-range vision. Prepare yourself for the final expansion, for the stage where the message becomes global. The territory already smells like victory, and you are the only architect holding the blueprint. Keep listening. Let the structure settle into your spirit. We now enter the dimension of absolute dominion. The wolf recognizes no borders, because borders are scars that weak men have carved into the earth in order to feel safe. For you, the world is not a collection of countries. It is a map of opportunities waiting to be claimed. If you are hearing my voice through a translation in any corner of this planet, understand this: truth does not need a passport. Scarcity is the language spoken by those who remain at the base of the mountain, complaining about the weather. Abundance is the dialect of those who climb, of those who understand that the air becomes purer and the vision becomes clearer the higher you rise. We are not here to be a footnote in someone else's history. We are here to write the manual of our own existence in letters of fire. Injecting this message into the global system is not an experiment. It is an act of cultural war against mediocrity. Personal sovereignty is the final prize of this game. To be the absolute owner of your mind, your impulses, and your financial destiny is the only real freedom that exists in this century. Everything else is decoration. Do not look for the world to understand your leap, because the world fears what it cannot control. The world fears the man who has decided, once and for all, that he no longer needs the validation of the herd in order to become the king of his own territory. Your results will speak for you with a volume that the noise of envy will never be able to drown out. Abundance reveals itself through the calm of the one who has nothing to prove to anyone. The manual of your life is being written right now, not with empty words, but with the difficult decisions you make when no one is watching. Abundance is the reward of the one who dares to look into the void and, instead of stepping back, chooses to leap knowing that he has built his own wings. Every time you choose investment over waste, discipline over momentary pleasure, and long-term vision over instant gratification, you are colonizing the future. You are claiming a territory that does not yet exist for others, but for you is already tangible reality. Time is your most faithful ally when your foundations are steel. There is no crisis capable of collapsing a system forged in silence and relentless preparation. Look toward the horizon of your life. What you are seeing is not the end. It is only the beginning of an expansion with no known limits. Abundance is a constant flow, an energy that never stops. If you try to hold on to it out of fear that it might run out, it stagnates and begins to rot. The wolf understands that in order to receive more, it must be willing to conquer more. It must remain in constant motion, adjusting its strategy, sharpening its senses, and never, under any circumstance, falling into the trap of complacency. Complacency is the waiting room of scarcity. Stay hungry, not from need, but from curiosity and sovereign ambition. The territory is vast, and your ability to claim it is infinite if you maintain the right frequency. This episode does not end here, because your transformation has no final point. We are rewriting your mental genetic code, removing the sequences of doubt and replacing them with algorithms of certainty and power. Abundance is no longer something you search for outside yourself. It is something that rises from within and that the outer world has no choice but to reflect. You are the architect. You are the builder. You are the sovereign of this new order. Breathe in this authority. Feel the weight of your own capacity. The air is dense with the promise of what is coming. Stay in this vibration. Let the sound of victory settle into your bones, because there is still much more to discover in the depths of this mastery. We now arrive at the final frontier of this session, the law of inevitability. You must understand that abundance is not a gift from destiny. It is a mechanical response to the architecture of your will. When you have cleaned your system of the static of fear, when you have built foundations of granite and designed a personal machine of war, success stops being a desire and becomes a mathematical certainty. The wolf does not wait for prey to appear by magic. The wolf knows that by following the correct trail with the right intensity, the encounter becomes inevitable. You are here, in the 40th minute of this calibration, because you have already crossed the point of no return. Mediocrity no longer recognizes you, and you no longer speak its language. Scarcity always looks for external culprits, the market, luck, other people. Radical abundance knows only absolute responsibility. If something is not yet in your territory, it is because you have not yet decided to claim it with enough force. To be sovereign means accepting that you are the only programmer of your reality. There are no errors. There is only data to adjust in the simulator of your conquest. Every apparent failure is, in truth, a valuable piece of information that the system uses to optimize the next move. In the mind of the wolf, the concept of losing has been erased and replaced by the concept of strategic calibration. As long as you keep breathing and operating under this code, victory becomes a matter of time, not probability. Imagine the power of a mind that no longer knows what it means to doubt. A mind that operates with the cold precision of an algorithm and the intensity of a predator. That is the frequency we are operating on now. Abundance is also the generosity of power. Only the one who knows he has an inexhaustible source of value can afford to build structures that benefit others, always under his own terms. You are not accumulating to hide. You are expanding to illuminate your own map. The fear that it will not be enough dissolves in the presence of your capacity to create. You are a generator of value, a power source of will that does not depend on any external grid to move forward. This message, injected into the global flow, becomes your new internal soundtrack. You no longer hear the noise of the world. You hear the pulse of your own engine of abundance. You have learned to see what others ignore, to detect opportunity where others see emptiness. Sovereignty is not a destination. It is the vehicle you operate every day. Every second you remain in this state of awareness is a second taken back from the old programming of scarcity that tried to define you from the beginning. That connection with fear has been cut. You are free to expand as far as your vision allows, without apology, without hesitation, and without stopping until every part of your personal map is under your control. We are approaching the end of this transmission, but the echo of these words will continue operating inside your system long after this moment. You have executed the leap of the wolf. You have moved from need into authority. The world is no longer something that happens to you. It is something you make happen. Maintain this pressure. Maintain this focus. And above all, maintain the silence of those who already know the outcome before the game begins. Abundance is your natural state, your rightful position, and your only direction forward. I am MentorNoriegaIA, and this is only the beginning of our global expansion. The territory is yours. The outcome is yours. The victory is yours. End of transmission for now, but the wolf never stops observing.